Hey guys, how's it going? All right, just getting myself situated at the desk. Had to go grab some honeycomb so I wouldn't pass out while I'm sketching tonight. Hope everybody's doing good, enjoying your weekend, all that good stuff. Let me get some lights on. Got a lot of fun stuff happening at the studio, and excited about the schedule now going into March and April, May, leading into the summer. I'm happy with the way the schedule is working out because there's a lot of built-in time for catching up with stuff and working on the next issue of Zen and working on the next issue or the next new miniseries for Nira X for Committed Comics. So very happy about where the schedule is at right now and my ability to get caught up. My goodness, it's taken since last year to get caught up with things. So thank you so much, guys, for your patience and always supporting and being part of things here. Makes everything worth it. Makes everything good. Let's see. Oh my god, I got a lot of catching up to do here. Let me see who is in the chat with us tonight before we get started. Kevin, what's up, dude? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. That is awesome. Let's see. Kevin says, that splash page. Are you hinting at something? Mouse in space. Or maybe Nira X Astronauti. That dude, I love that word. Astronauti. Nira Barbarella. I suspect they could teach each other something fun. Super cool, dude. You got my brain gears already turning on things. Some person, what's up, dude? Space, the final frontier. Let's see. It's foggy over here. Temperature is going up rapidly overnight. I think spring has arrived. It was all misty and foggy over here too. The temperature is like jumping up and down like by a lot. So it was like middle of the afternoon. It kind of felt like springtime here, and then later in the evening yesterday, it got like super cold back in the 40s or whatever. But yeah, I know springtime is working extra hard to come back into the space. Kevin says, in space, no one can hear you scream, but the rest of the crew can. And they wish you could be more quiet. Christopher Bouchard, what's up, my friend? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Awesome, awesome. He says, well, hello there. And how about a hot Nira X space artwork? I like that. All right, that's our first official idea for the evening. So I write down my little cheat sheet over here. So I'm gonna write down Nira X in space. I like that. That's our first official idea on the board. Kevin says, where are the green chicks? I know, right? Start getting my Star Trek on. Some person says, hello, very cool. Very, very cool. Everybody's saying hello. Let's see. Kevin says, so you're saying the groundhog was wrong? Right? Ken, what's up, dude? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Awesome, awesome. Evening, gents. Evening, gentlemen. Welcome to the House of the Mouse. Some person says, I think the groundhog has been taking bribes. I think the groundhog is on crack. Very cool. Saying hello. Let's see. Kevin says the next great scandal uncovered by the Inquirer. Indeed. Ken says Nira in space 2069. Could be something along those lines. We definitely have to do some, because like for Blade Runner, like when like Joy's hologram is like huge, and she's like pinks and purples and stuff. I like that scene. Where are these gents you reference? Some person says, will there be a black hole? Let's see. Oh no, close, Ken. 3069. You could break it down to very nice numerals. 60 triple X 69. Nicely done. Nicely done. Let's see, when the black hole meets the Milky Way. I see what you did there. Many questions will be asked. As Ken says, you've thought about this some, haven't you? Maybe. Same. Great minds are trained alike. The truly mad minds think alike. Very, very true. Very, very true. Christopher saying hello. Very cool. Let's let there be video and sound. Oh, I'm getting closer to catching up. Let's see. Honeycomb, not Cookie Crisp. I'm out of Cookie Crisp. So I got a new box of Honeycomb. I do also have a box of Lucky Charms. I had to make a decision, man. I had to make it. It was a hard choice. Time was running out. You say Honeycomb's big. Yeah. Now I got the whole commercial in my head with the friggin' treehouse and a whole bit. Paul, what's up, dude? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Awesome. Let's see. Hey, all my alerts didn't go off. What the hell? Yeah, what's up, man? It's like we're going to be subjected to these algorithms. We need the ones that actually work for us to actually work for us. Am I right? Courtney, what's up? Hello, mates. I'm glad you're hanging out with us tonight. That is awesome. Kevin says, give it a moment, Paul. They will come. Oh, yes, they will come. Many notifications. Very cool. Saying hello. Let's see. The 70s were the funky era for space movies. I know. Don't have to remind me twice. I was born in the 70s. That's what I was subjected to first. Well, and Adam West Batman TV shows. Take a nice swig of the water. Chase down those the rest of whatever honeycombs are left over. Let's see. Kevin saying hello. Very, very cool. How's the Citadel? Maurice, what's up, dude? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. That's awesome. Saying hello to all. Very, very cool. Courtney says, always a party at the Citadel. Hell yeah. Night Phoenix, what's up, dude? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. That is awesome. Ellie. Mystery Box says, which is Kevin, Nira meets Captain Link Heartthrob. Miss Peggy Lee would be mad. Oh, that's right. Peggy Lee's song. The space song. Out of this world, because everything is... I know how the song goes. It's like, if I made a Nira X movie, I'd use that song for part of it. Just because it's actually pretty Nira X relevant. Night Phoenix saying hello. Very, very cool. Some person saying hello. Excellent. Night Phoenix says, I'm early tonight. I know, right? We barely got started. We got like one idea on the board, which is a Nira X in space. And we'll see where the rest of the evening goes. Paul says, things I thought I would never say. I bought a copy of Nira X issue 2 first series in Powhatan Middle School cafeteria today. Oh, in a middle school cafeteria. Did have like a small show, like a little event thing at the school. That's kind of cool. The fact that you found Nira X issue 2 from the first series, that makes me actually pretty happy. I'm glad that those issues are floating around. I do get a lot of notes, a lot of messages from people that they'll tell me that they found like certain issues of different Nira X issues from the 90s, and they're still floating around. They're still in boxes at the shops. They find the action figures at the store still. Very, very cool. It makes me happy. Let's see here. Some person says, oh, wait a minute. Ken says, giant hologram Mercy like in Blade Runner. Oh, is this our second idea? I like it. This might be our second idea. All right, I'm going to write that down. I think that's... If we get to 3, I'm not sure if we're going to get to 3 or not. We're definitely going to shoot for 2 sketches tonight. Those are good ideas. I like these ideas. Some person says chrome hippies, carpeted walls, and Jefferson Starship. All right, look. Well, in the straight up 70s, I was still like too young to have like carpeted walls. I think my brain came online like mid 70s, 75. We're talking about like Star Trek episodes, Batman episodes. Let's see. Kevin says, "Giant naked mercy." Paul says, "In space, no one can hear you." Scribe. You get extra points for that one. That is good. That is good. Kevin says, "Eep." Let's see. I was referencing the Muppets, the pigs in space. Eep. Some person says, "Throws fish at you, mystery box." Paul says, "Yes, Powhatan Comic Con. Powhatan. Am I saying that correctly? I think I'm saying that correctly." Kevin says, "Okay, now I can say I'm in comics. Anyone have any DC books from this month? I'm published in all of them." Christopher says, "How's the commissions coming along?" Slower than I expected. We're working. I'm finishing the last of Club Corrupt #2, so that way we could fulfill the book. So that's what I was doing this past week. So I slowed down on commissions a little bit this past week, but that book is headed to the printer now. I would say in like the next 3 or 4 days, it's going to be headed to the printer, and then I'll be jumping right back on commission so I can get some extra speed on commissions again. So in between the book deadlines, I jump right back on commissions again, and things will move along a little bit faster again. Let's see. Paul says, "Very small but amazing show." Sometimes I prefer the small shows. I really like the smaller shows. I love the big shows too. I mean, it's like you like seeing celebrities and you like being able to see a whole bunch of people and stuff like that. But I really enjoy the small shows too. I'm thirsty. Gotta drink all this way over here. Whatever. Night Phoenix says, "Hologram Mercy with the platform heels." Yep. I think you know what? I'm gonna write myself a little note here. There we go. See if I remember to put the platforms on her. I think that'd be dope. Hopefully I don't draw her too big and she ends up her feet go out the bottom of the page. She ends up with no feet. Kevin says, throwing fish. Shall I now call you New Zealand? Let's see, Drat's slow commission completions. I know. I've been delayed by a few things, but we've actually taken the time to rearrange. That's what I was talking about at the very beginning when I first came on, about the schedule being kind of like rearranged and spaced out differently and stuff like that, because we've been running slow and behind for a pretty long time now. So I want to make sure that we turn that bus around. So I'm very, very happy with the new schedule that we've got set up, because everything fits in very, very well, and it gives me a big chunk of time to work on commissions and start getting back on track. I need to get back on track, man. That's half of what I live for right there. Paul says, "Ever considered doing an all sticky note stream?" Sticky night. Well, I am now, but I'd have to ask Kat if that's okay, because she has the copyright. She has the IP for all sticky note commissions. Courtney says, "How about a sexy Tinkerbell? Or a Cyber Angel Tinkerbell? Oh, that would be cool." All right, I'm gonna write that down as idea number 3. Assuming we get to a third idea, I think that would be awesome. That's a good idea. Very, very cool idea. Some person says, "You must be Fozzie." Fozzie Bear. Hey. Kevin says, "The post-it notes will really stick to your ribs." Waka, waka, waka. So you're Fozzie Bear. All right, so the first one of the evening was Anira X in Space. The second one is going to be a Mercy Blade Runner crossover. And if we can get to a third one, I love the idea of maybe a Tinkerbell Cyber Angel. That might be pretty dope. Paul says Captain Scribe Hook. Ah, shit. Let me put that down as a little note on the side. If we get to this Tinkerbell, we're gonna try to put Scribe back there. That would be dope. Just imagine how Tinkerbell would react to the cyber skin. Chris Gallagher in the house. What's up, dude? Hey, I'm glad you're hanging out with us, man. That's awesome. We just barely started. So we've got our 3 ideas for tonight. All right, so the 3 ideas for tonight. We got Nira X in space. We got Mercy with a Blade Runner kind of crossover thing. Maybe platform shoes, if we could fit them in there. That would be awesome. And then a Tinkerbell Cyber Angel. So that is, I think that's our dealio for tonight. I think that's where we're headed. Let me see. Let me just check these dings on my phone. Okay, we're all good. Just want to make sure. I always got my phone going on because just in case there's an emergency or something like that. I do have family members I got to keep track of and stuff. So unless it's an emergency, I will not be rude and be reading things on my phone. That would be silly. But yeah, I got some family members I got to keep track of. I got to keep track of my dad and stuff like that. Health issues and whatnot. So got to make sure that if there's an emergency. But you know what? The only emergency tonight is drawing Nira X in space. So that's what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to do our normal rules for the evening, which is doing a somewhat light pencil layout of our sketch. And then, of course, it's with the intention of inking it afterwards. So if you do end up bidding on one of the pieces tonight, when you receive it, it'll be a fully inked piece. And then everything else is basically the same. I think this is basically we haven't done like a different type of art in a while. We like to get our characters down, so I like what we got going on. Let me just turn the microphone this way a little bit. There we go. Excellent. All right, let me get some little expression on her face here, and then I'll run back to the chat, make sure I don't fall too far behind with you guys. I do like the idea of Nira X in space, though. This is cool. As far as I can tell, I think we should have enough time to get the 3 sketches tonight. It would be fun. It would be fun indeed. All right. Maybe I'm going to put one of those kind of a 1960s fishbowl space helmet on Nira, or something a little bit more modern. Here we go. Get a little look on her face here. Yeah, this weather's been like crazy. So between the rain that we had last week and then today, or yesterday and today, it's like the temperature changed so much that everything outside was just wet. I'm just like, I can't sit on the porch, like everything's wet. But it's all good. It's all good, man. All right, we definitely don't want it poor Nira to stay with the bald cap on, so. Maybe we'll give her something nostalgic, but still sexy. All right, let me get this little part here. I'll take a quick look at the chat, making sure I'm not falling too far behind on you guys. Maybe we'll have to draw a little space monster action with this one. Let's see how this goes here. All right, so we got a little start on her. I'm wondering how, because I could have just given her like goggles and a face mask. That way I can have her hair floating everywhere. Actually, you know what? I think I like that idea better. All right, let me catch up with you guys real quick first before we get too far into this. Let's see. Kevin says, "So much scribe. I long for the bananas again." You know what? Maybe we'll hide a banana. Maybe we'll hide a banana in this one. Because Scribe might end up in the Tinkerbell one, like hiding in the leaves in the background if he's Captain Hook, right? As he Ken says, Allura would be a decent Tinkerbell. She has the blue wings. That's actually a cool idea. I like that. I'm gonna note that down real quick. That way, when we get to Tinkerbell, we'll have Allura in mind. Kevin says, let's see, I just pictured Nira in space encountering Superman as he turns back time, wondering why he's working so hard at such a simple thing. Oh, crap, that's right, yeah. He has to work really hard. She just goes. Let's see, Chris says, let's get it. I'm working on art too, brother. This is awesome. Very cool, man. Hey, we're having studio time. We're actually having studio time via satellite internet. All right, we're gonna put some space goggles and stuff on Nira. I think that's the direction we're gonna go with. And you know, if she's got her bangs, okay, I know what to do. I've drawn things before. All right, so we're gonna clean that up a little bit. Yeah, because the idea of her being in space is like I really want to see like her hair floating everywhere. It would just be really cool looking. And then we'll put some cool goggles on her. Give her some cool Oakleys. She is a cyber angel, and she can be exposed to space, as it were. And Fighting space people is what she does. It's what she does best. And plus, having your hair floating in space, it kind of like it reminds me of like when people swim underwater and their hair floats everywhere. I like that look a lot. It's a cool fantasy look. Yeah, doesn't that look more dramatic? Like people just can't be floating in space without helmets on. Except Nira. Nira can do it. It's part of her contractual agreement that she can do crap like this. But she likes the goggles because she wants to look cool. She also has it's contractual. She has to look cool while she's doing stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There you go. That's cool. Now, see, Courtney says, if Tinkerbell is on Captain Scribe's ship, there could be some tentacles. Oh, that's a good idea, too. I'm going to write those notes down. Ship tentacles. I love it. Hey. Some Leviathan tentacles coming up from underneath the ocean. That'll be pretty dope. I like that. I like that idea. That idea is coming together pretty good, and that's idea number 3. It's like we got 2 drawings to get to before we get to the Leviathan. Let's see. Kevin says, "Keep track of what you eat." Okay, that's more important. Nira in white space. I know, right? Well, for the line art, yeah, she's going to be kind of in white space. So we'll have to make sure that we put some digital colors on this one. So that way we can have some actual real space in the background. Maybe we'll make sure to draw her wings. Wings might be a theme for tonight. Now she's in space, so it's like I want to have her wings out, so she's kind of like using them to kind of like give her some direction, some flying around. Ooh, I haven't drawn her with cool space boots in a while. That's like one of her signatures, man. Excellent. Here, let me get her arm up here like this. Definitely want to make her cool, like holding some kind of phaser, some kind of like phase pistol or little tactical gear here. And her most recent costumes and stuff, she's usually sporting some elbow armor too, so I like putting that on there. It's still a little bit more like her normal pistol. It's just a little bit bigger. Heaven forbid she'd not be a badass. There we go. All right. Give her a little bit of attitude. All right, let me catch up with you guys. Oh man, I got to scroll all the way up. Woo, how far up do I have to scroll? There we go. Where are we at? Where are we at? There we are. Okay, I don't have to scroll that far. I thought I needed to scroll like all the way up. Let's see here. Let's see. Kevin was mentioning. You mentioned that fishbowl helmet. I have a memory of someone using a helmet like that as a hot box. Oh crap! If Nira did that, she may not be in space, but she would think she's in space. Ken says, "LOL, space cake, Nira." Cake in space. Kevin says a Buzz Lightyear sort of helmet. It will give her plenty of space to float around. Paul says, we all know Elon got the SpaceX name from Nira. Yes, I know. I want to sue, but he's got too many connections, man. So I let him have it. We talked on the phone for a minute. I tried to talk him out of a car. Didn't work. Let's see. Kevin says tentacles. It's like Ken is rubbing off on you. Oh my goodness. Yep, for sure. Ken says the floating hair could be covering her boobs. Covered boobs. Where is the real Ken Zazer, please? Kevin says floating hair like that reminds me of the Captain Marvel movie. Yep, for sure. Yep. Kind of reminds me of what was that? Art Adams. Art Adams did he did some Tom Strong stories back in the day, and there's that female character. I forget what that female character's name is. You know what? When I look it up and I sound like I know what I'm talking about, I'll bring it up again. I just remember the visual, and I don't remember her name now. It was literally like 3 or 4 short stories that he did with that character. So I'm having a hard time remembering her name. Sure I know where that's going. All right, cool. Zero gravity boobs. That's funny. I didn't read your thing yet, and I just started working on her boobs instinctively. See what happens. Kevin says 0G boobs could cause some black eyes. Yeah, that could be a problem. That could be a problem with the 0Gs. There's probably a Brian eye here and there too. But damn, the boob physics would be fun to watch. It's like, who are you talking about before you talk about pink eye? Oh my goodness. Space is dangerous tonight. Let's see, with a little change of coloring, it could be an underwater scene too. Yeah, I know, right? Dude, that's it. Johnny Future, thank you. That was exactly what I was talking about. That is exactly what I was talking about. Thank you. I was actually bothered. It bothers me when I can't remember names right off the top of my head. All right, we're gonna get some little armored pieces on her here. But still make them cool. Plus, I kind of want to put her in some of the series, depending on what series it is. She has these dope big ass boots. And she usually only wears them when she's flying in flight mode, because they're 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 not easy to draw like her walking in them because they're so extremely like they're big and they're pointy. Well, you'll see. You'll see in a second. So when I draw these particular boots, yeah, it's like they're perfect for when she's either flying or just posing and standing. But it's like as far as like walking around in them, it's like not very practical at all. So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. They're like these extreme boots that she likes to wear. Rocket Boot City. There we go. Just get a little bit of little definition, little glossies. Get some little panels that sometimes the little panels come off and stuff, so she can steer her boots. But we still have to draw some kind of little space monster or something with her. So I'll leave a little bit of space here. I said space. All right, let me draw a little armor bits on the side here. Yeah, she's looking dope. I like this. I like how this is coming out. All right, let me there we go. Now we can get a good look at where she's going here. Actually, how far back is her arm going? Going like this, going like this. There we go. That way I got a general idea of what's happening with her arm there. She's got more going on than normal when it comes to her armor this time around. That's cool though. It's that's what'll make this piece cool. It'll make it stand out. All right, let me let that sit here for a second. There you go. Her cyber skin can make her hair extra long too. So many benefits to cyber skin. Order yours today. Yeah, she's coming together pretty good. I like it. Let's see, Kevin says, not Johnny Future, Johnny, like Joni. You know what? I've mispronounced it for exactly 32 years. Thank you. Where were you when I was trying to? So it's Joni Future. Are you serious? Literally, I have been pronouncing it Johnny for literally my whole life. That's, I draw pictures. I'm not an editor. I'm not a copywriter. There's a reason I need an editor. Thanks, dude. I've been corrected now, so in the future I'll be much better off. That is funny. I'm gonna tell Kat. It's like, hey, I started getting better with my English. I know how to pronounce things. All right, let me see what we got here. Let me catch up with you guys a little bit. Let's see, big and pointy. Well, we like that. Maybe a space octopus. Yeah, see, I like that. That's right along the lines of what I was hoping. Yep, yep, yep. Glad you said that. You'll see where this is headed in a second. Gotta have a nice monster look to this guy. When I ink him, I'm gonna give him a lot of texture. There we go. Make this a real ominous guy. I'm gonna keep all of his like little suction cups and scales and stuff. I'll keep it kind of loose. So a lot of that work, when I get in here with the inking, a lot of that work is going to be done with a brush. Give it a real organic kind of look, It'll be really dope. And then when I go in there later and actually put in some color, that'll really tie together really good. We have to find some really good places to use this one. Space octopus. this one, I think this was definitely going to be a published piece. A lot of good ideas happening with this one. Yeah, the one tentacle here kind of makes it look like Nier has a tail. Yeah, dude. That was way more than I thought we were gonna do with this. But I like drawing the I like drawing the space alien kind of guys. They're always fun. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, that's gonna get used. Nice idea, my friend. Let's see. Kevin says its name would be Grabby McFeely. I was skimming past what you typed, and I literally thought you were going to say its name would be Gary. Some person says, or a monster from an Atari video game. Right, right. I think I got pretty. I think I got in that neighborhood a little bit. Could be like a Space Invader kind of dude. She's revenging against Yar. I used to love that game back in the day. That was one of my Atari games, man. Yar's Revenge. Yes. Some person says if she gets near a comet, her hair will go foof. Yes. All 8 bits? It's a bit rough. Some person says, I think those were 2-bit games. No, they were more than 2 bits. Dude, I used to be so impressed with how advanced my Atari games were. We were top of the world, man. You had to be there. Courtney says, men often claim 8-bit when it's actually only 2-bit. Oh, shit. Okay, you get extra points for that one. You get extra points. That was too good. But Ken says, that's my opening line. Kevin says, hey, I'm not going to touch that one. Some person says, Bill knows his many-eyed beasts. See? Look at that. Jelly has a space-going cousin. Yeah, I know. You know what? I was thinking about Jelly while we were drawing him. Yep. That's who I was thinking about. But this is more of he's not as fun as Jelly. Jelly has his own thing going. Fantastic beasts and where to find them. Yeah, he's a grabby one. Well, all of his little suction cups suck. So we'll see how that's going. Unhinged, what's up, dude? I'm glad you're hanging out with us tonight. That's awesome, man. Much appreciated. Say looking good. Very, very good. Very good. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Some person says, Nero, what is it with octopuses and me? Some person saying hello. Very cool. Kevin says she's got a body that doesn't suck. So that's gonna get used. What? Nira is? Yeah. Thanks, Night Phoenix. You're awesome, dude. Thank you. Let's see. Kevin says, no, Gary is one of the names of Santa's backup reindeer. Gary the Jew. No offense meant to anyone. I thought Gary was just the Superman robot. What is it, number 4? Am I getting that right? All right, so we've got Nira in space. This is a really fun character piece. You guys got me inspired really good for that one. So I'm gonna set that off to the side, and we're gonna see about Mercy. We're gonna see about Mercy having a Blade Runner crossover. Unhinged. Okay, listening while reading Man with No Strings. On Phil Diaz tomorrow. Okay, got you. Phil Diaz on tomorrow. Good sir, good sir. Kevin says, remember, bigger is breastier. That's true. She's supposed to be like freaking like six stories tall. So we're gonna draw the largest Mercy that I've drawn. This will be the only Mercy that I'll draw with black eyes. Remember how Joy in that scene, her eyes were black? So Allura is going to be a little jealous. Usually Allura is the one Cyber Angel character that I draw that the whites of her eyes are black, and then her pupils are like this electric blue color. Like the black eyes, like similar to Gambit's eyes. Not from the movie, of course. You know, I thought it would have been pretty cool to have Gambit's eyes actually accurate in the movie. I didn't even think about that until way afterwards. But Gambit's eyes are black. They could have given him some contacts or something, right? We got CG, we got AI. They could have given him black eyes without punching him. All right, so we're gonna do a Joy homage. I'll just black him in like that for right now. Always love drawing Mercy, so it's always a good reason to draw Mercy. We like her. We like Mercy. All right, gauge where her position's gonna be. All the good stuff. There we go. I'll make sure her face. Usually, most of the sketches usually really loose, you know, so that way we can actually get the whole drawing done in the time limit that we've set for ourselves, right? So, but I like at least getting her face nice and tight, so that way you can see the expression that she's got going on. You look like a good Joe. All right, let's see here. Drawing in her bangs is always like my favorite part. Her hair is much longer than Joy's, but you know, it is at least it is black hair. So we're sticking with the theme here. let me just get this one little part here. Maybe a good little starting point for where she's going to go. And then I'll jump back in the chat real quick. Not sure. Well, yeah, we should be able to draw like a little bit of the building that she's standing next to. We should have enough time to do that. All right, so we got a nice little start there. Let's see, if we have her body like this, maybe we can have, just for the sake of scale, I'll rough it in. I'm sure I'll tighten it up later. But I want to have at least one of the Blade Runner floaty cars in the background. Just kind of rough it in real quick. I just want to make sure I know what space it's taking up in the background. There we go. We got one of those little guys in the background there. All right, let me catch up with the chat real quick. Excellent, excellent. Let's see. Some person is sharing. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, share the link to Zed Comics at zedcomics.com. Very, very cool. The Man with No Strings. Excellent. I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah, dude, that's cool. Always want to cross promote between us and our friends. Absolutely. Kevin says, jealous. She would be happy to have company. Yes. And this is Unhinged channel. Make sure you check out the link right there. Very, very cool. Thank you, Jason. And some person says he might need another sheet of paper for a giant. I know, right? A giant Mercy could be picking up a small Malka by the scruff of her collar. I know, Rapunzel. I know, let your hair down. I know, she's got like 20,000 feet of hair going on here. All right, let me see how it is. I want her body positioned. I'm doing a little stick figure off to the side here. Kind of help me along. Okay, there you go. That's the position I want. Here you go. So just so you see what I'm doing there, I'm drawing a tiny little stick figure to kind of help me with the pose a little bit. That way I don't have to erase a whole bunch of pencil lines by roughing it out on the actual sheet. So this is good. This is good. This shall help me along nicely. I'll draw her first and see where her body position ends up being, and then we'll consider whether or not we're going to draw in a building or a walkway or anything. She is giant. And of course, what I thought would happen, because I wanted to draw her big on the page, what I thought was going to happen ended up happening, which is her feet go off the bottom. And I don't want to erase her whole body. We'll see how this spacing goes. You know, I wanted that arm to be on her knee, like she was leaning down. Maybe I'll take this arm instead. But you know, this is part of what it all is. Solving problems. I don't like her arm there. It doesn't feel right. My original idea to have her arm down is what felt right before. See, you have to watch me solve problems in real time. See, it's not like drawing digitally, is it? If something doesn't end up in the right spot, you got to redraw the whole thing. You have to redraw the whole thing. Can't spoil myself with my digital tools. But that's okay. That's okay. It's just an arm. We'll redraw the arm. There we go. Why is Siri turning on? My Siri literally turned on. I didn't even say it. Here's the thing. I actually said the name of the thing twice, telling you that it turned on, and it didn't turn on.
I don't even let Siri be alive on my phone.
Yeah, it's like a pain in the butt. It's like she turns on when you don't want her. Like, you know, I'm over here drawing something. Okay, or roughen where her hand's gonna go here. That's better. That's closer to the. That's a little closer to what I had in my mind. So that's good. The only thing I'm sad about is that because of the size I started drawing her at, it's not like I laid out. I should have laid out basically a stick figure for the whole thing first, which I would have done if we were not trying to just draw it all in less than an hour. If I spent more time, I would have done like an actual layout before starting the drawing. But this is how art goes sometimes. So, unfortunately, don't have enough room to give her platforms. I guess it makes her more movie accurate because the hologram is nude. But still, I like the idea of the platforms on her. That would have been fun. We'll have to shoot for it next time. Let's draw her other hand over here. I think we'll definitely have time for the third sketch of the evening, and still have time to flesh out Mercy Joy here. We're gonna have some futuristic scaffolding and things in the background. There we go. Just kind of marking where I'm going to put some buildings and things in the background over there. I want to have some arbitrary futuristic shapes and stuff, so it looks like there's some buildings and things in the background. We'll mail this one directly to Harrison Ford. As I look what we did. Because why not have an Atari logo somewhere back there? So we'll get some texture and some things back there. Hopefully you like this piece. Hopefully you like it. Some parts I cannot add to it while we're on YouTube. 2 parts in particular. But I'll add those in after the fact. All right, let me catch up with you guys real quick here. All right, these are the 2 pieces we've got so far for tonight. And we got one more coming. I think we have enough time. I think we have enough time. Unhinged says, no guess is better than Bill and the crew, though. Greatest stream ever. Thanks, dude. Much appreciated, man. Yeah, I'm hoping to kind of build up our YouTube game here. I want to make some long form videos that I can just post, and I always enjoy doing the live streams and stuff. So definitely want to keep on doing that and kind of building that through the year. Kevin says, don't erase. Place the upper part of the building at the bottom part of the page with a little and give it size and perspective. Did Paul Purvis ever get his notifications? We want to know. Ken says, maybe have a small scribe in a trench coat looking up at. Oh, that's not a bad idea. A nice little way to include scribe in the festivities, right? There you go. Let me set this over here for a second. I was asking myself whether or not I was going to include the scaffolding. Maybe right around here. I'll get some little support beams and stuff. We'll get Scribe in a little trench coat. Little sad Scribe. Some little support beams over here. I'm just going to rough them in a little bit. Just so we know where everything is. Yeah, let's have Scribe right here. I like that we always make a little room for Scribe. There he is. There's Scribe. You guys can thank Ken for bringing Scribe back, because we've had so much fun with Scribe. All right, that's where this one is. That's where that's where this one is for the evening. There we go. Scribe in a trench coat does seem suggestive. I think it should be a cyber angel. Yes, Malka, do you feel like being in the future? Some person says hello to Kat.
Hi.
Kat says hello. Kevin says, I'm not going to say the name because my phone will turn on. Turning on unexpectedly is one thing, but having her laughing in the middle of the night is another. Like she's haunted. Courtney says, maybe she was laughing at your 2-bit. See? Well, laughing's okay as long as you don't point. Future sounds great. Awesome. Let's see. Kevin says, platforms in an ad on a building behind her as a purchasable accessory. Damn, see? That's what I'm talking about. You know how to fit it in. All right, one more element. One more element for this piece. Good idea. It reminds me of the succubus character that we're going to be working on here in a minute. But it also reminds me of Mercy's actual platform shoes. Kind of reminds me of her original platform shoes from the beginning. Good idea, dude. Now it's a purchasable item. On the billboard. Nicely done. Nicely done. Let's see. Chris Gallagher says, what is your goal here tonight, good sir? Well, let me tell you, every Saturday at 10 Eastern time, we all get together. We have this draw stream, and we do this for about 2 hours. We throw some ideas around and from the chat, and we kind of like throw some ideas at the wall, see what sticks, and then we come up with these here sketches for the evening. And then at midnight, we auction off the sketches to one lucky winner each for at the end of the evening. So at midnight, we'll auction off the sketches. Whoever wins the sketches, they have the option of keeping it just the way that we drew them on the show, or if they want to push them a little bit, not safe for work or whatnot. And what happens is they will send me a PayPal. Whoever wins the piece will send me a PayPal. I will ink the piece separately after the show, like during the week. I've actually got a stack of artwork that I've got to be inking and completing and sending to people. So if you do happen to be somebody who wins one of the pieces, the piece that when you receive it in the mail, it's going to be fully inked and fully finished off. Let me see if I have a sample next to me. Let's see here. There you go. This is a piece that somebody won recently. Our good friend Ken, other Ken. I think this is the fourth Ken. And so I went ahead. I've inked it. He's got one more piece that I still have to finish for him before I mail it out. He also won the Buck Rogers tribute piece that we did. I was super happy about that. So, and then that's it. I put up my email address. People can either send me a PayPal or a Venmo at the end of the evening. And then sometimes we post that artwork on my secret Patreon page because I'll put digital colors on it and all that good stuff. And that's it. This is our club. This is our Drawstream Club. And this is what it's all about. We have some fun every Saturday night. Come up with stuff and we have some art to collect. And then eventually, maybe some of these pieces will end up in one of our art books or in one of our comic books, and that is what we do. That is the ins and outs of Bill's Saturday evening. As Kevin says, 2 bits or my 2 cents. It's all I have. Without it, I have no sense. Night Phoenix says, looks good even without the heels. Thanks, dude. You're awesome, man. I didn't want her foot to go off the bottom of the page, but I didn't want to like scrunch up her pose either. So I was just like, damn it, I should have drawn her smaller. But she's supposed to be giant, so I drew her big. It's like damned if you do and damned if you don't, a little bit. As Kevin says, don't forget about your 2 a.m. Pacific stream. I think I forgot about that one. Night Phoenix says, please do some long form video, some long form drawing videos. I miss those. Everyone does speed draws now. Doing some sexy Cyber Angel pages would definitely get an audience. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. I like doing the speed painting stuff or the speed drawing stuff, speed inking and stuff. But I enjoy that. I enjoy watching that from other artists also. I like kind of reverse engineering how they draw and how they handle certain things. So watching the long form video of like actually seeing all the boring parts, which I find very interesting. So I'm hoping that other people will find it interesting also and enjoy those. So yeah, thanks for saying that. And that's part of the plan. I really do want to start making some more content, some more long form content. Get myself a swig of water. Mighty Geek, what's up, dude? Club Corrupt letters. I know the Club Corrupt secret Patreon page. Nobody knows where it is. It doesn't leave this room. Kevin says, Mercy Joy. So, Scribe, do you have anything in your place that will fit me now? Hey, what's up, Jason? Let's see, Blade Runner vibes. Although I've never seen it. Oh, really? You've never seen it? It's a long burn of a movie. It's got a slow pace to it. So I think, I mean, me myself, I think you got to be in a mood for a movie like that. But you got to be in a mood for whatever movie you watch, I guess. So it kind of stands to reason. But it's a slow burn. I think it's a thinky movie. It makes you think a little bit. It's I like the pace of it. I really liked it. And it's actually Kat and I ended up watching it fairly recently, like in the last 6 or 8 months. She didn't watch the first one, so we watched the first one and then we watched the side. We made a whole evening out of it. So it was cool. It was cool catching up. Get the Blade Runner evening on. Kevin says, if you have to point, just say ah. Some person says you can have a Mouse Industries on a building. Ah, that could be a thing. Yeah. Mighty Geek says newsstand rack featuring Club Corrupt. Oh, I like that. Oh, a newsstand rack would actually be super small. But I remember there were some like things on the walkway. So I mean, look how small it would be. It would be tiny. Moss Industries. There you go. Write myself a little note so that way we'll add that in there. I think that would be fun. I like that idea. That's cool. And see, Kevin says, what sort of news is it that involves the club? News that Bill finished all his commissions? I know that. I told you, man. I'm excited about the new schedule. It's a long time coming. It's a long time coming. It needs to be taken care of. I need my summer to start with fresh feet. So we are on it. We're on it, my friend. Ken says adding Scribe really tied it well to the movie. You know what? It did. Having him looking up like that. I mean, that's the scene. It's like it's not just Joy like being projected up on the building or whatever. It's like it's got to have the the sad little guy looking up. Kevin says Giganta would fall for joy at this scale. Ah, some person is sharing. This is the link to my secret Club Corrupt Patreon page. So if you guys would like to check that out, that is awesome, awesome. Kenneth, what's up, dude? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Awesome, awesome. Saying hi there. Very cool. Some person says Bill Moss's site, which is that's my regular website. You'll find all of my links and stuff there. Like it's my hub where you can find basically everything that I'm doing. Also, this is my regular Patreon page at Bill Moss Art, and I just started a new story. It's actually a story that I'm well into. So it's every Monday there's a brand new page of the story. It's called Infinite Cat Fight, and it's really fun. It's a black and white inked story. It's possibly my longest running commission story that I've ever worked on ever. So I'm starting to share it now, one page at a time, every single week on my regular Patreon page. If you guys want to check it out, please do. Please support. That'll be awesome. I barely just activated that page again and got it active. So I would like to see it build up and have you guys join me over there as well. Unhinged says I used to do a draw promo show called Test Your Might, where you had 30 minutes to do a piece from no prompt or theme. It was fun. That sounds challenging, dude. That sounds challenging. Ken says I thought the new Blade Runner was art. It was. It is. Kat and I both enjoyed it. We both give it complete approval. Some person says in the future, Kat will make Mouse a household name. She is the 2.0, my friend. She is the next generation. All right, so Tinkerbell is our third piece of the evening. We got about 30 minutes to see if we can get this piece in here. So this was the third idea that we had tossed around earlier. Let's see if we can pull this off, my friends. And we were thinking about having Allura, who is one of our Cyber Angel characters, as Tinkerbell. So I like it. I like that. I like this idea. Tinkerbell, but with an edge. Since she's Tinkerbell, I'll make her eyes just a little bit bigger than usual. There we go. Happy eyelashes. Happy eyelashes. You know, Allura is usually intense and angry. So this will be fun to see her bright and happy. Yeah, she's got the dark. What's the white part of the eye called? It's called a sclera. Is it a sclera? Am I saying that right? I'm definitely thinking of Gambit when I think about having the dark parts of the eye, or having the light parts of the eye be dark. There are lots of other characters that have that feature, but that's usually who I'm thinking of when I draw Allura's eyeballs. See if we can get her expression settled here, and then I'll jump back in the chat, make sure I don't fall behind. I do like giving them luscious lips. There we go. Always got to remember, Allura's got the little beauty mark, as well as the delta. All right, got a good start on Allura, aka Tinkerbell of the evening. Kevin says Cat's stream should be named Eep a Mouse. Test your might. Mortal Kombat. You know, the first Mortal Kombat is still very nostalgic, and like it's a I don't want to say it's not a good movie, and I don't want to say it's a bad movie, but I still love that movie. Your soul is mine. Ken says, hey, you're doing pieces of all 3 OGs tonight. You know what? I didn't even realize that till you just said it just now. Tonight is an OG night for the girls, huh? That's cool. You know what? It happened organically and naturally, so makes me happy. All right, got a little bit of a smile on her here. I'm actually glad. I'm glad we picked Allura for this particular piece because I really like drawing her wings. I like drawing her wings because they're like their energy shapes, you know, just really organic. They're fun. They're fun to draw. It's so fun. I like it a lot. It is an OG night. And we're doing really good on time, so very, very, very happy with tonight's idea selection. And I think our timing has been working really good. Give her some Tinkerbell vibes here. There we go. There we go. Sometimes all it takes is one line for it to like look totally correct or totally wrong. But she's looking very nice so far, so I like. Okay, I'm gonna get this little part done here, and I'll jump back in the chat again. I wanted to get this little part of the idea into the drawing before I forgot. I always like it when you do stuff like this, just to kind of push the scale of how small she is. I got her holding a big ass key. I had to do it. Okay, let me catch up with you guys a little bit. You're right. It's like, the nostalgia. Ken says the Mortal Kombat movie that came out several years ago was ridiculous, but a blast. Yeah, they're so over the top, dude, that they're still fun. You know what I mean? They're still fun. And even the original one, the first one that came out a long time ago, it is not a great movie, but it's so fun. It's such a fun movie. And you can't deny the soundtrack, so I'm just like, all right. There we go. Just gets these little parts here. Still gotta figure out. I'm gonna put like some kind of wooden floor, like to imply that she's on the ship. And then we'll see about putting some of those tentacles up there. Plus, she's got to have her wings. We definitely don't want to forget about her wings. She has these energy wings that float over her back. Like a little bit like Nira in that respect. Some of these cyber angels, they don't have wings that connect to their back. They're sort of like floating over their back. I like that idea. Just the visual of it. I think it's pretty cool. Like their energy, but the way that I draw them, they sort of look like shattered glass or something, or like hunks of glass. But it's like this blue plasma energy that she emanates out of her own body. That makes it pretty fun. There we go. We'll let that sit there for a second. Let me catch up with you guys real quick. Some person sharing Cat Mouse's Instagram link. Thank you so much for that. Also, there is Cat Mouse's regular website. Very, very cool. Mighty Geek says, what would you call an anthology featuring all of the Cyber Angels? That would be a good question. I actually have, when we were publishing with Avatar Press in the late 90s, we did have a bunch of Cyber Angel stories, and the book was simply called Cyber Angels, like just plural. So that's as close as we've gotten to, like, you know, like a collection of stories that just features like all of the other Cyber Angels and like the side lore that goes along with it. So I don't know if I would. Is it similar to like lanterns? Instead of calling it Green Lantern, you just call it lanterns, plural. So I just call it Cyber Angels, plural. Some person says the movie should have been about the Australian Kano, the best character. Yeah, Kano is pretty cool. I like Kano. Ken agrees. By far, Kano ruled. I always called them crystalline energy wings. Yeah, I think that is an appropriate description. Kevin says, "Is that the key to the Maid Marian's everlasting chastity belt?" I would have never thought. Allura Bell. I like that name. Allura Bell has the ability to scratch Marianne's itch. Some person says maybe a half-eaten giant block of cheese in the background. Oh, you know what? I was thinking about hiding the banana somewhere. We'll see if the banana gets hidden somewhere still. An anthology title. It's history. Oh, you know what? That's funny. The very last book, the very last Nira book that I drew for Avatar Press back in the day, it was just called Nira X History. That's what it was called. You just reminded me of that. I had a flashback. Barrett, what's up? Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Very, very cool. You're asking, is Cat Mouse Bill Mouse's daughter or wife? Just curious. Okay, not a problem, because a lot of people ask because they don't know.
And the spawn.
She is my spawn.
And the child.
She is my child. But she is 28 years old. She's taller than me when she wears the appropriate shoes. So a lot of people do ask. They do ask because we show up to a lot of different shows together and we work together a lot, and we share a studio together. So that is actually an excellent question. I do get asked that very often because people that don't know don't know. So now that you know, Cat Mouse is indeed my daughter, and we are continuing to grow our little studio and get more artwork and more busy as time goes on. So very happy about that. Ken says Cyber Angels never got published though. Previews did, I thought. Cyber Angels did actually get published. There was a bunch of short stories that got published in the Threshold. Remember Threshold? Threshold was literally an anthology book. It was short stories by a bunch of different artists. Like if Heavy Metal was a black and white comic book, it's like it was a little anthology like that. But they did end up collecting those stories into one book that was just called Cyber Angels. Thank you, some person. Very, very cool. Dan, what's up, dude? Dancing in the house. Glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Very, very cool. she looks ready to open her fortress of solitude. Okay, maybe the key is not that big in scale. Definitely has the same vibe though, right? Superman picking up that big old key. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it definitely has that vibe. The more I look at it, the more I think about it now. Let's see. Kevin says that's why I said it. I remember how hard it was to get that last book. Yeah, it was. It was hard to find. It was hard to get that book. Some person says, "What was Kat's response when first hearing that question?" Oh, we've been getting that question for a while.
I've been getting that question since I was like 15.
Yeah. Ever since she became a teenager, people would ask if they did not know. It's like, yes, I get all my mail order brides from apparently Mexico and or Japan. I have no idea. Because Kat is half Puerto Rican and half Mexican with a dash of Irish. So apparently that's the formula for Asian. Because people keep on assuming.
They assume, but I see a lot of Mexican girls who look the same. So I'm just like, I just think people don't know what Mexican girls look like.
That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
And I'm on the thinner side of Mexican girls, so maybe that's it.
That could be a thing too. All right, let me get a little bit of.
You kept me in that bowl haircut for too long. That's probably what it is.
I did. I did keep her in a bowl haircut for a super long time. I transformed her into an Asian person because I kept her in a bowl haircut. It's not my fault, baby. Daughter, please.
I'm walking back in that type of thing.
Okay. All right, let me get a little bit of a background here so we can figure out what we're doing. We're on the SS Green. Yes. I'll have to add a bit of wood grain when I start inking this one. That way the floorboards look like the deck of a ship. Now I gotta figure out. We're gonna put some tentacles coming up from the sides. Like she's on the deck of the ship, like in a small little part of the deck of the ship there. All right. Let's see. Kevin says you kept her under the drawing table for too long. See what she's become. I know, dude. That's actually part of her origin story. Here, let me drink some of this water. Part of Kat's origin story. The very first convention that I ever used to take her to was San Diego Comic-Con. And she was literally a child. We're talking like she's like 3 years old, 2 years old, 3 years old. Actually, we started taking her to Comic-Con when she was a fetus. She was literally in her mom's belly. So ever since she was an infant, she's been going to San Diego Comic-Con. When she started getting old enough, let's say 3, 4 years old, something like that, she used to I'd have a little spot underneath the table in Artist Alley. So she was underneath the table. She had her snacks. She got her little video game. She's got her little sketch paper. It's like, dude, she's if anybody was initiated into Comic-Con life, it would be Cat Mouse. All right, I'm just gonna rough in. I think the timing worked out just right because we start our thing. We kind of start ending the drawing portion of the evening and go into our auction portion of the evening right around midnight, thereabouts. We're not strict about it, but we try to stick close to that general area. So I'm going to rough in a little bit where these tentacles are going to go. There we go. This one will go like this. This one's going to take a while to ink. All these suction cups and texture on these tentacles. There we go. And we're thinking about a little space for Scribe. He's going to be our Captain Hook over here. And for old time's sake, here we go. All right, so we got Scribe up here. He's hanging on for his dear life. And then for old time's sake, we got the banana. The frickin' banana with the duct tape. As an homage to all those drawings that we did together with that freaking banana. All right, this one is basically where it is. That's where that one's going to be for tonight. Oh man, You guys had some good ideas. Got me busy. You got me busy. I say, all right, let me catch up with the chat before we start anything to do with the auction for the evening. Let's see, make sure I got my pen over here and stuff like that. All right, we're doing pretty good. Let's see. Ken says maybe she made an Asian face and the wind blew and it's stuck that way. That's a possibility. Dan says opposite misunderstanding. Short girlfriend who got mistaken for my daughter at a convention. You see? Yeah, people make assumptions, but they don't know. So it's like, what can you do? Yeah, that's the thing. Kat is she's just as tall as me, and then she's got a few pair of shoes that got some like serious sole on them. So she's literally a little bit taller than me when she wears those shoes.
Dude, I'm like 5'3". Like
Well, with the shoes, you're tall. Dan was saying that he had the opposite problem because he had a girlfriend that's short enough that they got mistaken the other way around. I was catching up Kat, Dan. I was catching Kat up. Some person says maybe a giant face in the background looking at her. No, he got all those tentacles now. I think that was the original idea. I think. Some person says, oh, there we go, about the giant face. Ken says she's small, so she's riding the dinghy. Yep. Mighty Geek says, up until the mid-90s, there were newsstands everywhere. It's crazy to think how things change, man. It's weird. Like, you think those staples will stay around forever. It's like I couldn't imagine, like, the newsstand not being there. Even with computers on the way, it's like I still didn't see a reason for the newsstand to go away. Let's see, some person says, when she was at Comic-Con, everyone chanted, one of us, Google, gobble, gobble. What curses are you trying to cast a spell? Let's see. Ken says maybe a chain around her ankle. That's why she has the key. Oh, that's a possibility. But like a chain around her ankle, the key is so big, and a chain around her ankle would have to be giant. She's gonna open something. Maybe you know what? Maybe I have a mystery padlock here that goes to something that she's about to open. So I'll have it here like this. Maybe it's a treasure chest. I'll draw it like real stretched out in the foreground here. There we go. There he goes. There's a padlock over here. So that's what she's going to open up something. We're not sure what it is though. Some person says there's still some newsstands in drugstores. I think they could sell comics there to revive the industry. I would like to think so. I think it's going to take a lot. I think the industry is evolving into something new, but I don't know what. I don't know what. I would love it to be the way it was, but at the same time, I don't know. It's like we got to get more people interested in collecting on a regular basis. So, or have to find a different way of finding the people that enjoy buying it in the first place. So, there's a lot to it. Like, I concentrate on making the thing, but as far as promoting and advertising and all this sort of stuff that it takes to actually revive viewership, readership, all that good stuff, that's several other full-time jobs. But I'm hoping for the best. I want to see it turn around. Kevin says comics have become too expensive for kids. They have to come down in cost to be something popular again. I totally agree with that. Right now, the way that we have to release comic books, they're like events. So it's almost like a band dropping an album, and then their fans that have been fans for a long time, they're able to pick it up and enjoy the event part of it. It's something fun for us all to do. But as far as younger kids and younger people getting into the habit of just buying comic books on the regular, Yeah, it's like it needs to be an impulse buy. It needs to be something that's way less expensive than what it is right now. The banana. The banana made it in, dude. And the next banana will be an homage to this homage. Ah, absolutely. So that's the emergency banana boat inflatable. Yes. I know, right? She's a giant. The banana's really, really, really far away. The problem is they don't use newsprint anymore. Some comic creators have started using it to sell their books cheap. Yeah, and I totally agree. I mean, I miss newsprint. Like newsprint is the deal. I like having fancy paper like now and then for special books or special projects. But the fact that we don't have access to cheap printing and we can't make cheaper comic books if the printing is so expensive and everything like shipping everything is so much more expensive. Like it makes it impossible to release a cheaper comic book. And the only other way you can make a comic book super cheap is if you're selling 100,000 copies. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot to the soup, as it were. Night Phoenix says they used to carry comics in the candy store. Yep, I remember that. Yep. When I was a kid years ago, shoot, I used to pick up comic books at the Navy Exchange when I was a kid. My parents, my dad was a Navy guy. They'd go to the Navy Exchange or the commissary or whatever, and I'd escape. I'd go. You guys do shopping. I'm going to hang out at the magazine rack. Some person says, "Have you seen the movie Freaks?" It's a classic. I believe I saw it. I'm going to say it's a long time ago. It's a very long time ago. I'd have to watch it again to refresh. Ah, there's a clip. Okay, cool. Click on that a little bit later. You guys can click on it, see what's up. Unhinged. Yeah, the comic industry is still in a new phase. It has hair in funny places. That's actually the best way to describe it. When you have short hair, it looks all right, but then you want to grow it out. So between you having short hair and long hair, it's in that weird phase in the middle where it just looks dumb. But then once you get the long hair, like it's fine. It's like you're good to go. So yeah, we're going to be in this phase for a minute. Paul says it's weird how comic characters are so big on TV, movies, and games and merch, theme parks, but the actual comics not so much. I know, right? That's actually kind of insulting. That's not the way it should be. Nobody's or at least the kids, and it's not even the kids' fault. They're not being told. They're not being taught, that this is the source material. This is where it all comes from. Unhinged is asking, do you still have the naval-based comics? They go for more money these days. No, who knows? Who knows where those comics went? I had a bunch of them though. That's when I first started my biggest memory of buying, because I would buy like Spider-Man and like just the normal Marvel DC stuff. But the thing that I was most excited about was getting the next issue of Crack magazine. It just happened to be what I was into. I was at that age, and John Severin, he was the artist that I was into at the time, and I still am. I got a piece of his original art on my wall. He drew parodies in Crack magazine of all the TV shows that were part of my lineup at the moment, like Knight Rider and Star Trek and A-Team and all that good stuff. So he had his finger on the pulse of what I was watching at the moment. So that was actually what I was most excited about buying during those years. Bill is talking about hair as oxymoronic. I know. I complained about my curly hair for years, and God took it away. He's like, stop complaining about your hair. Now you're bald. Now you got to shave off the rest so you don't look like George Costanza. Some person says, as soon as most of America realizes comics can be for adults too, it'll be more like in Europe. Yeah, Europe and Japan. In Japan, it's like everybody buys comics. There's comics for everybody. Even the freaks. Paul says, at the small con today, a guy was selling his dad Prince. Told me I was the first person all day that knew who Elektra was. And then some young teens knew who Jason Voorhees was, so who knows? The fact that there's people that don't know who Elektra is insulting. My goodness. I mean, there's a lot of obscure characters in comics. I would not consider Elektra an obscure character. Holy smokes. That's crazy. All right. Well, let me see. I'm going to prep myself. Oh, you know what? You know what I didn't do yet? I have to grab the pop-out chat from the YouTube channel. If anybody happens to be watching on Facebook, I would invite you, if you want to be synced up, with everybody else in the live chat, I would invite you to come over to our YouTube channel. It's at Bill Moss Art. Let me see. Let me get the pop-out chat here. All right, there we go. That way I'll get this thing to work. So, and even if you're on the YouTube channel, even if you're watching us on YouTube, in the chat up on the top where it says Top Chat, you want to click on that, get a drop-down menu, and click on Live Chat. Live Chat is where you want to be. That's where everything is synced up the best. So what I do is, for anybody watching for the first time, I know a lot of you guys already know what the dealio is and how we do things. Basically, we'll start we're going to do 3 different auctions for the artwork in the order that it was drawn. So we've got Space Nera is going to be the first one. So I'll put her like that, so that way you know which one we're auctioning first. We're going to let it go for 5 minutes. You can type in a bid amount into the chat. The only rule that we have really is that you please type the word bid next to your number, so that way we know that it's a serious bid. And at the end of the 5 minutes, I do a 10-second countdown. I'll hop out into the live chat along with everybody else on the YouTube channel, so that way I'll type in a 10-second countdown, and I'll type in 000 to mark it as sold, and whoever gets the high bid will win the piece. And then it's just simply a matter of sending in a PayPal, and make sure you send me your mailing address, that sort of thing, and that's all there is to it. It's a 1, 2, 3 thing, very casual. So we are going to start Space Nera. Let's see, it's 12:10 ish, so we're going to let this go till 12:15. I'm going to write that down right here. Bill with curly hair. I know, that was me, dude. I had curly hair. Had a big fro. Got the big Puerto Rican fro. Black hole in 1 bid. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin in the house with 1. I will write that down. I respect your $1, my friend. Get the gears turning. Some person says maybe add a planet so people know it's space. That's not a bad idea. I like this idea. You know what? I never draw a planet into a panel from this angle. So I'm just going to kind of rough in where that goes like that. And then we can have some Kirby crackle in the background. So that way we're emphasizing the space, especially while it's in black and white, right? So it's like, without putting that in the background, she could be underwater for all we know, especially with the squid. So good suggestion, my friend. Thank you. Excellente. Ken says, I want my $2 bid. Thanks, dude. I want my $2. Paul says, 2 rules must be a pun and say bid. that is our casual, not official rule, but it's our very it is our very welcomed unofficial rule that you have to say a pun of some kind. But if you don't, it's okay. We're not going to disqualify you. All right, let's see. It's 12:13, so we got 2 minutes left on this piece here for $2 whole. This could be a good week for somebody. Ken, currently the high hand in the house with $2. $2 for a Space Nearer that's probably going to see print. Paul in the house. Ben Folds 5 bid. Thanks, dude. Got 5 from Paul. Got 1 minute left, and then we'll jump into the pop out chat and we'll do a 10-second countdown. Less than 1 minute left to go. Kevin in the house, 7 times a bid. Thanks, dude. Ken, this one goes to 11. 7-11. I love you, dude. 11 from Ken. Very, very cool. All right, it is 12:15 right now, so I'm not going to be writing down the bids now because I'm in the pop-out chat and I got to type in the 10 seconds. So we're going to start with 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We do have an interruption. Paul in the house with $25 bid. Kevin, we had a lucky $13 bid, but we're already at 25 from Paul. Thanks, Paul. Continuing on, I think we left off at 4. Continuing on with 3, 2, 1. We did have an interruption. Let me see here. This is from Kevin. Thanks, dude. 31 days of Halloween bid. Cool. Thanks, dude. Paul in the house with 32. Thanks, Paul. Kevin back in the house with 33. 33 times bid. Thanks, dude. All right, I am jumping back into the pop-out chat. We left off at 1, so I'm marking it 000 to mark it as sold. I got one more interruption. Paul with 35. Thanks, dude. I'll write that down. And I'm about to hit the 000 to mark it as sold, and it is sold. Let me scroll up. Please, everybody, congratulate Paul. That was an excellent bid. My boy got it for 35. That's crazy. That's so cool. I'll write down Paul on this one here. Very, very cool. Kevin says, good job, Paul. Very, very cool. Ken says, congrats. Kevin says, what a steal. Paul agrees. Oh, crap. That's a steal. Night Phoenix says, congrats. Very, very cool, everybody. Very cool. Good going, Paul. That was a good little bid. Good. I'm going to write your name on the back of this one, my friend. I'm going to set this off to the side here. Keep her safe. Kevin says, I just pulled up Bill's Comic-Con interview from 1994. I was young. Holy smokes. I was literally a punk kid. There's the link, everybody. Paul says, everyone's waiting for a Cyberbell art, aren't they? They're waiting for the Cyberbell. Kevin says, watch it. 2 minutes in. I was so extremely young in that interview. That was crazy talk. Oh my gosh. All right, we've got Mercy Runner. Let's see, it's almost 12:20, so I'm going to let this go till 12:25. And we'll start the bidding on our Blade Runner piece. There we go. That light was kind of blowing out the lines a little bit. Kevin says, at least we have video proof of hair and youth. It's crazy, right? Kevin says, I will bid 20, not 49. 20 for Kevin. Thanks, dude. Unless, were you trying to say 69? You're trying to make me solve riddles? Ken in the house with 2049. I wrote it down. I'm going to respect it. All right, this is going until 12:25. Kevin says, hey. All right, 2049 is currently the high hand in the house. Kevin was in for 20. Ken is in for 2049. Which subliminally is 69. But it's 2049. Look at Scribe looking up at her. Spider-Man 2099 bid. We're going up by nickels. But you know what? The pun was good. The pun was good. Paul in the house. It's a bad runner joke, not a 69 joke I like. Chris Dehan, what's up, dude? I'm glad you're hanging out with us tonight. Blackjack bid 21 for Chris Dehan. Thanks, man. Even numbers, that's what I like. And no riddles. Making me think all hard. All right, we got 3 minutes left on this one. Chris Dehan currently has the high hand in the house. You know what? It is an odd number. It is an odd number. But there's no you know, the boob bid is that's different because it says boob. And 2099 was good. I accept that one because it's Spider-Man 2099. That's good. That's good. It's good puns. It's good puns. And of course, whoever gets this one, I will add the other two little elements that are missing. We have to keep it safe for YouTube, as it were. Ken in the house, 25 to rent a car bid. Thanks, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Paul says the Blade Runner sequel title. I think that's the reference. Yes. Kevin says, I tried to keep it even with 20, not 49. Chris Dehan says, dirty 30 bid. Thank you, Chris. Chris has the high hand now with 30. See, Ken says, yeah, and I went with 2049 on top of his as a joke and to annoy him. That's a stinky pinky sort of bid. All right, less than 1 minute left to go, and then I'm going to hop out into the pop-out chat with you guys. Ken with Expedition 33 bid. Thanks, Ken. Paul came in with going to be too broke for ice cream if I bid higher than 31 bid. All right, Ken's already got you beat, but I like the pun. Kevin says, color me annoyed. Not Club 33? Some person says, you see how the boobs are blank? The winner can have nipples drawn on for an additional $50. Just kidding. Chris Dehan in the house. Okay, mate. 38 bid. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks, dude. All right, it is 12:25, so I am hopping out into the pop-out chat. Do my best to keep track of anything that happens. That's a good reason to everybody to be synced up to the same chat, so that way there's no mistaking who won the piece. So starting with 9. Oh, we already have a interruption. Paul in the house with 40-year-old virgin bid. Excellent. Thanks, dude. Starting the 10-second countdown now with 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, we do have an interruption. Let me see here. We got Chris Dehan in the house right now with 44 mag bid. Yes. Kevin says not a 40-year-old Virginian. Chris Dehan in the house right now with 68. Thank you so much, dude. Kevin in the house with a 69 bid. Yes, tradition has been upheld, my friend. Chris Dehan coming back with 73. Thanks, dude. All right, Chris Dehan currently has the high hand in the house. Continuing on, we left off at 6, continuing with 5, 4, 3, 2. We have an interruption. Kevin in the house, 750 bid. All right, so that's 75. Chris Dehan coming back strong with the boob bid. Yes, tradition upheld. Thank you, sir. Hell yeah. Kevin's like, hell yeah. Yeah, we got there. That's right. All right, Chris Dehan in the house. Courtney says, yay, boob. Introduced by Courtney herself, the boob bid is secure. All right, continuing the countdown. We left off at 2, so we are at 1. And I'm marking it 000 to mark it as sold. And It is sold, my friends. Let me scroll up real quick. Chris Dehan in the house with the boob bid. Awesome. Let me write that down. Please, everybody, congratulate Chris. Very, very, very cool. Good, good. The drama was getting thick. But I like that. It's like, yes, we got there. And I'm glad that Courtney's happy. She saw the boob bid, which is awesome, awesome. Kevin says, congrats. Very cool. Ken says, nice. I really dig that one. Christy Hen says, thanks. Very, very cool, dude. Very, very cool. All right, I'm going to set it off to the side real quick. Actually, you know what? Let me make sure I write your name on the back. I'll keep it right over here. Keep it safe for you. This is our final piece of the evening. Is it the Cyberbell? The Allura Bell? I'm going to write down Cyberbell. And we'll start it at 12:30. So we'll let this go until 12:35. Very cool. Dan Sand is saying congrats to Chris. Excellent, excellent. Paul says congrats. Very cool. Kevin says boobs are the breast. Courtney says, Kevin, did you get an yet tonight? I know, right? Where's the Kevin says he misspelled my name on that one. Bill Moss Art. No yet. All right. The Allura Bell Cyberbell piece is now beginning. We're going to let this go until 12:35. Give this 5 minutes. Kevin says, one big bid lockdown. Thanks, Kev. Got $1 for Kevin. Get the wheels turning for the evening. You notice it was the SS Green back here. That's what it was. Chris Dehan in the house. 5 bid is the key. Excellent. Courtney in the house. Yay. The 8-bit bid. Love it. In for 8 bits. Chris Dehan in the house with the 12-inch bid. Holy smokes. Thanks, dude. Kevin says, that's why I said I was happy to have Allura Bell ride on me anytime. All right, Christy Hand, currently the high hand in the house, my friends. Yeah, we still got 4 minutes left to go. We got plenty of time. Right. Ken Zazer in the house with the Baker's Dozen. Thanks, dude. Baker's Dozen, 13. Now I want to go to the donut. I'm going to go to Krispy Kreme.
Don't even. They're open all the time here. Don't even. Don't even.
They're open 24/7
Don't
here.
even.
In fact, if I go there like pretty soon now, they're fresh. Yeah, they're making them fresh. Oh, we might have to get some donuts. Christy Hand in the house. 15 more bids to go, bid. You're awesome, dude. 15 for Chris. Very, very cool. Chris Gallagher says, what's the YouTube channel? Damn it. It's youtube.com / Bill Mouse Art. Bill Mouse Art, one word. Please join us. Join us, Chris. Ken says when I was 17 bid. Very cool, dude. 17 it is. What did I say? Did I say Chris? I said Ken. My goodness. Ken with 17. Thank you, my friend. But Chris Dehan says 21 to go clubbing bid. So Chris did come back with 21. Some person says Cat will find Bill passed out on the kitchen floor with frosting and jelly all over his face. He'll mutter, worth it, worth it. I have no regrets. Kevin says, you couldn't drink at 17. You had to be 21 bid. Ah, nicely done, my friend. Nicely done. Chris Dehan back in the house. 25 Seals ran away bid. Cool. Got one more minute left, my friends. Paul in the house with 28 days later bid. Hell yeah. Chris Dehan is like 28 years later bid. Ken Zazer says 29 days in February bid. Oh, nicely done. All right, looks like it is 12:35, my friends. I'll be hopping out into the pop-out chat. Oh, I see that Paul is over here. 37 years of first Krispy Kreme bid. But 31 days in March bid. Oh, but you're already beat by 37. Holy smokes. Chris Gallagher in the house. Here I am. What if I don't do PayPal? I hate PayPal. Oh, we could do Venmo. We could do whatever you want, Chris. Anything you want. All good. Just I'll just have you email me, and it's all good to go. We're here to please. Chris Dehan in the house. 40 to go bid. Check you out, my friend. Kevin says, I'm sure Bill can work with you. Absolutely. Oops. There we go. There we go. Copy. Excellent. Meaning of everything. 42 bid. Excellent. Kevin in the house with 42. All right. I'm hopping out into the pop-out chat right now. I see Chris Dehan with a Colt 45 bid. Paul coming back with 48 prefectures in Japan bid. Ah, nicely done. Very nicely done. All right, 9, 8, 7. I just saw Lando with a blaster and a beer. I see an interruption. We have an interruption. Chris Dehan in the house with a 50-50 chance of win bid. Nicely done. I like that. It's 50-50. It's Chris Dehan jumping back in. We left off at 7. Continuing on with 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We have an interruption at 2, my friends. It's Kevin. Someone is over 52 bid. That would be me. Chris Dehan in the house with a 69 bid. Thank you, sir. Tradition is upheld, my friend. I know, right? There we go. All right, Chris Dehan, currently the high hand in the house. We stopped at 2. Just continuing on with 1. And now I'm marking it with a 000 to mark it as sold. And here we go. And it is sold, my friends. Let me scroll up, make sure we did not miss anybody. Please, everybody, congratulate Chris Dehan in the house with 69. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my friend. You got a double tonight. Excellent bidding, my friend. Please, everybody, congratulate him. That was very, very cool. Kevin says double congrats. Ken Zazer says nice one. Very, very cool. Paul says congrats. Glad those last 2 went for good numbers. Very, very cool. Courtney says congrats to Chris. Excellent. Chris Dehan says thank you. Very, very cool. You guys are awesome. All right, let me make sure I write down your name on the back of this one, and we'll show off our bounty for the night. All right, let me see. We got Allura Bell, Cyber Bell here. We've got our Blade Runner Mercy homage. We've got Space Nera. Excellent. There's a lot of artwork tonight. We really got a lot of things done tonight. Dan Sen says congrats. Very, very cool. Thanks so much, dude. Chris Gallagher says this is all so fabulous. Thank you, dude. I'm so glad you're here hanging out with us, man. Very, very cool. Paul says, when is your next show that you have scheduled? Well, let me take a look at the calendar and see where it is we're supposed to be. I see one that's on the calendar that's for the 14th of this month, but it's I look at the website and it doesn't look like it's actually up yet. So I don't know if that show is actually happening. So the next official...
We have like a whole Monday app just for this.
The next show that we...
City, April 18th and 19th.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to read off of my calendar that I have written down. So Ocean City on April 18th and 19th is the next show. That is where we are going to be. And that's going to be Cat Mouse and myself. We'll both be there together. We always try to do most of our shows together. Let's see. Let me turn this little banner off. There we go. We have Paul and Chris Dehan were our winners for tonight. I already know that you guys know where to send in things. For anybody who is watching the show for the first time, or maybe you're watching a rebroadcast of the show later on, and you're wondering if you bid on the piece, how it is you pay for the piece. Basically, you're sending a PayPal to this email address, or I also have Venmo that you can send to Bill Moss Art, or you could send Cash App. You got all the things. And that's about it. Let me see here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. See, Ken says, shouldn't Mercy Joy have a Delta? Ah! Yes, I was in a rush. Look what happens. She should absolutely have a Delta. She should have a cute Delta since she's Joy. See? A last minute edit. Good eye, my friend. Good eye. Perfect. Ken says, I didn't buy it, so it ain't my call. But that was the theme for the piece, so I am glad that you brought it up. I am glad you brought it up. I know Chris will appreciate it because that was the theme for that piece. Well, everybody, this has been a lot of fun. You guys threw some really cool ideas at me this week. Every Saturday I look forward to this. Let me see if next Saturday we're going to be here or if we're going to be gone, so I kind of know what's happening. As far as I know, there is a show that's on my calendar, but I don't think that show's actually going to be happening. So I think we're going to be here next Saturday, just normal time, 10 o'clock Standard Eastern Time, and we'll do this all over again. Have some fun. have some laughs, have some jokes, and we'll do our thing. And I hope everybody enjoys the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, as it were, since we're like 43 minutes into it. And I will be here again next Saturday, unless you catch me during the week doing some guerrilla tactics and live streaming at weird times. And we'll be all good to go. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you doing that. Courtney's saying good night to everybody, which means, you know what that means? That means we're leaving. Good night, oh, bless you, Cat. Cat sneezed, so that means we have to shut the show down. Good night, everybody. We'll see you again next week.
Good night, Seattle.